Let's look at the configuration elements that are common across a lot of the RT web parts. First of all, let's look at one that's common across all web parts, period, and that is this menu caret. You'll see it in the upper right-hand corner of a web part. It's where you get the drop-down menu so that you can choose to do things like to minimize the part or delete it altogether if you're in edit mode, or to modify that. So each one of these, as you can see, has that menu caret. This is where you would get entree into modifying the web part. So for example, in the trend web part, I'll choose, again, what I've done is I've chosen this, the menu caret. I've chosen modify shared web part. This brings up that web part definition. So this is kind of like a builder screen that lets you define how that web part's going to work. Now, a second type of common thing you see in most of the RT web parts is a start time and end time. A point I should make about this is if you're looking at something like a gauge, a gauge does not have a start time and end time. It's just got a single timestamp associated with it. It's not like a trend with a start and an end. So for a gauge, we're only going to be looking at the end time. We ignore the start time when we're using any of these single element web parts like a gauge. Okay. Now this is also where you would find a field in which you can select what we would call the data set or the data source. This is where we specify either a pi tag, or it could be a data set that's been specified in the RT baseline configuration settings. So this is where we would get data from a relational database. Or it could be a data set that's been configured to look at a web service somewhere off externally to the Pi system. So one way or another, we need to identify where the data is coming from, and that's common to almost all of our web parts. We need something that points us to where the data is stored. Now, if I get back out of this edit mode, I want to show you another option that many of our web parts share in common. That is the ability to export to Excel, either to save an Excel file or to just open up the Excel file in place. So if you notice, I clicked on this menu caret, and one of the options here is to save or open an Excel spreadsheet. And what this will do is basically go out, like any good web application, it'll say, hey, do you really want to open this file? And sure, we'll go ahead and open it. We trust that. And this is going to go out to Excel, find that data, and bring it into Excel. So this has gone off my screen, but there we go. Here's our data. Here's the list of process values and timestamps, etc. And again, if I wanted to, I could have just saved that directly to a file.